relatives, descendants of a Reverend Franklin Campbell Smith, who came from Maine and was a priest, became a priest out here in Oklahoma in about 1896 and stayed here 3 years and then moved on to Colorado, Wyoming, back to the East Coast, and then Western Michigan, upper Western Michigan.
My name is Eric Singleton. I'm the Curator of Ethnology and Native American Art at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum.
Yeah. What do you think of that? I thought that was the most interesting piece.
Well, it's an umbilical cord carrier, is what it is. But without opening it up, you really can't tell. So they would have given this to, you know, it's a little off, but, you know, either a boy or a girl, and they would have kept this as an amulet, and they would have worn it around their necks.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But then there was a big trade in this because people started liking them, so this seems pretty stuffed. So
yeah.
I think this is a trade piece, but it would have been a hallmark of that umbilical cord emblems. And you see lizards, you do see turtles. Turtles are big ones, you know, because the turtle's protector. It works for male and female, but typically females.
Okay.
So that's why, like on some of the beadwork you see, like the Northern Plains beadwork has these curves. If that makes sense.
Right.
It's like right there. It's a turtle motif.
Okay.
It means it's a protecting element for the body. And then earlier than that, you'll see a drop down, and it's usually a deer tail.
Okay. So we're thinking southern plains. Is that? I mean, because you're desert lizard. Is that?
I don't know
prevalent
if it is a desert.
Okay. You don't think?
I can try to find it.
I mean,
again, I'll have to go look it up.
Looks like some kind of lizard.
And it very well may be. That's why I said it's a little different.
Yeah.
But you know, you're Cheyenne and Arapaho. I mean, basically the communities were divided in half, and that's why you have Northern Arapaho and Cheyenne, Southern Arapaho and Cheyenne. Okay. They're hanging out, and then it's almost like the community just gets cut in half. And then, you know, the Cheyenne and the Lakota start living basically together. Okay. So then I know people who are way more connected to Lakota than they are their Cheyenne brother, and just on the other side of the state sometimes. So it's kind of interesting.
Now, I think this was Blackfeet. They were telling me that. I don't know. What do you think? Yeah.
So it's neat. I like the dresses. So this is probably meant to mimic elk's teeth, an elk's tooth dress. So the Crow do those. Kiowa, unbeknownst to a lot of people, do that. They have elk's tooth dresses. Little girls will wear them. There's only 2 canines for every elk.
Okay.
So when you see a dress littered with elk's teeth, which are pretty much crow. Other people are doing them. I've seen them in other communities, so it's not exclusively crow, but they have stuck to it. Okay. But later on, you see that there was even a trade in fake elk's teeth made out of bone or ivory that they're putting on this, and they would even use pinion pitch to mimic the gum. Okay. Because it's like a status symbol. So if you're working around with a full dress made out of elk's teeth, then you're telling everyone, like, my husband is a great hunter, the family has great wealth, people are giving us these things, so you're just basically looking like the status. Status. So you're a signature member of the community. Now later on that changes when the trade allows more people to come in.
So what do you think of the moccasins?
Beautiful. More of a woodland style. So upper Great Lakes, Canadian subarctic, maybe Blackfoot, maybe that upper area where the Blackfoot are moving back and forth. Stunning, really nice pair. It's got a parfleche container on the bottom, so like that old parfleche there. Right. That's what that is. So a lot of times.
Yeah, go ahead, take that.
This is why I wish people you just gotta write it down.
Yeah.
These are gorgeous. These are really nice
I mean, a lot of beadwork on that.
Mm-hmm. And so this isn't as recycled, but sometimes you can even see color.
Oh, really?
On here, because they'll just take the old parfleche and start cutting it up. But you can see, like, they would have stitched the back here and then stitched the whole thing together. It's a really nice pair. But it's way upper plains. Maybe moving into that closer to the, I don't know. Like, I think you're looking at a Canadian First Nations kind of group today.
So you might have gotten those in the western Michigan, you know, area.
Could be.
When he was there.
Look, see it's mimicked on either side. And your color separation here, blue and red. They're great. See, like that? And then your pinks there. And then they do the color there. I'll go find out exactly what yours. Pretty. And these are neat too. This is an interesting mix too, because this is way more woodlands with your velvet here. Or the, like.
Yeah, with that calico.
Okay, so someone did this extra. This is not part of these originally, I suspect.
Okay, you think they were added then?
Yep.
Okay.
See, these are two different styles, two different bead patterns here. I mean, you get this same bead here, but this is...
It's a different color.
See, these are Cheyenne or Northern Plains. Could be... I mean, it could be a rep... I mean, these are just different. These are different, and these don't belong with this.
Well, do you think they then added on? I mean, we had Cheyenne here. I mean, he went to that mission all the time. Do you think the Cheyenne people added this on then later or something as a decoration?
I guess they could have.
I mean,
you know, I mean, it could have been that someone just piecemealed this together as a I mean, people do that.
Yeah, I mean,
so
to add a little
just took
more.
All of the, just found this little piece here and said, I'm going to add it. I mean, because the beads here and here match. It's interesting that they match the pinks there and the blues and the red. Actually, that's weird. They do come together. It's the same beads, but the patterns are very unique. You expect to see that different than that. Now, but those are the same.
Do you think, though, it was the influence of the settlement here in, like, let's say Cheyenne, which would be like they were near Fort Reno. Do you think then that the influence of, you know, the settlers with the Cheyenne, the Cheyenne perhaps would have added that on as a decoration? I mean, it's kind of like a...
Yeah, but I don't think it has to do with the settlers.
Okay.
I mean, it could have easily been something that was acquired. I mean, that's certainly, this is from their trade, but you know, you can see the style is still the same.
Yeah.
And the beadwork is the same, which is kind of surprising. So, long story short, I don't have an answer for you on these. It's a neat piece. It was used. And you know how it works.
Yeah.
Northern Plains. Now, what's interesting is this should be a little bit longer.
Really? Okay. And
because
is it
most of the time you can get better.
Oh, yeah.
And considering the weight on this, I would feel that doesn't seem as solid.
I didn't look at the end to see if it looked like it was broken. It doesn't really, I don't think, does it?
Well, I don't.
Or is it a decorative piece? You know what I mean?
Could have been.
Or would they would they use them as decorated as that, or would they be less decorated? Because I'm not sure if that, you know, would they put beads around the rock?
I don't know.
Okay.
Not. I don't know. I've seen both.
Okay, you have. All right.
You know, I mean, there's the reality of the situation is yeah, most of the time you want this stuff so it's practical in war, but the beads aren't really going to affect.
Yeah. Right.
Your ability to use this as a weapon. So if that's the case, why not beat it? It could be that they just had the ability to beat it. So why not? And he's still going to be very decorative when he goes out there.
Yeah.
And so there's also the element too that when he's in the throes of battle, certain characteristics are going to people are going to stand out to him.
Yeah, right.
So like when you get done with a battle, so you go out, so you have a medicine leader who actually leads these battles or takes people out there. Sometimes there's a lot of sacred material that goes along with this. And then an action is performed, and then people come back and they discuss it. and they see what war honors would have been awarded to given individuals. So from that point of view, it's actually important in some ways to probably have things that would stand out, so that when you're performing certain actions, whether it's taking heads or a counting coup, whatever that be, it's going to stand out.
Right. So they'll know it was him that did it.
Because it's interesting. There's an Osage discussion from 1832 where a lot of people were tattooed all over the Americas. So most of these folks probably would have been tattooed early on. Osage still have good tattoo photos. But one gentleman took a tattoo from a war, from a battle, and then the elders decided he didn't deserve it, so they cut it off of him. So
well, you didn't have to do that with
taking your war honors is important.
Yeah. Well, okay, so do you think that's like a Northern Plains, or...
It has the beadwork for it.
You know, so...
It seems like the vast majority of stuff seems to be creeping into that. It's isolated to a community, but then within that community, it's also isolated to a family.
Right.
And sadly, a lot of that's been lost, but a lot of others are still connected. Like, so I have friends that can immediately look at someone's outfit and be like, "Oh, Nancy made that."
Really? Oh.
Because they can tell by the beadwork.
Yeah.
And the way they did stuff.
Local person.
Yeah.
Now they had a frame for this, but they didn't bring it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I don't know if we can tell anything about from the beadwork.
Well, it looks Pawnee. That is a Pawnee star, but the beadwork is not Pawnee. This looks like a baby carrier.
Yeah.
So, and this would have been on a flatboard.
Right.
I mean, this could be Pawnee, but the beadwork is real different. But that is
the Pawnee star.
Pawnee star.
Okay.
But that also means you could be looking at maybe more Arikara, Hidatsa, maybe.
Now where is that?
Northern Way, Northern Plains.
Okay.
So basically you could look at your primary groups as Arikara, Northern Plains, Pawnee, Middle, Nebraska, Kansas, and then Wichita South.
Let me see that story. Now this is another thing. He did go to school in Kansas when he was becoming a priest, so who knows if he could have picked it up there too.
Well, that's very Northern Plains style, Cree.
Okay.
The way that they do that checkered pattern there, you see it on beadwork or moccasins a lot, but that's a Pawnee star there, or an iteration of it. It's pretty. But that's little baby carrier, and you know, like for the Pawnee, they're usually on flat wood too. You can look up their baby carriers, and then that same motif is usually on the top, which is just engraved out of wood.
Okay.
And then painted.
Well, maybe
you get a conservator in here, distilled water. They could clean up all your beadwork. They could tighten up this stuff, and it'd be a very nice piece.
It's a lot of it's dirty because obviously I don't know where they kept it, but they didn't, you know.
It's all over North America. It goes into Central America. It's the hero twin narrative. It's the above, the middle, and the below worlds. There's an axis mundi, which is what's right here.
Okay.
That acts as an elevator shaft that essentially allows
spirit or whatever.
Well, or leaders or medicine leaders to travel and deities to travel between these worlds. And so this is, like I said, this is actually, this piece here is probably about 700 years old, but it doesn't change the fact that there's your dance.
Yeah, right.
And there's your drum.
And it's the same type of thing, yeah.
And it's just been happening for a very long time.
Now, I don't know what this is about. Is it a decorative thing? Because these, to me, there's two kinds. There's one with the, it's like a metal point, and then it looks like decorative. And of course, they kept it in bad condition with all the feathers.
So this stuff here, we'll see these blunt ends here. These are like, oh, well, no, that's not the blunt end I thought it was. We could look, but some of this looks very similar to what they would have just hit rabbits and squirrels with.
Oh, is that what they do?
So you don't tear up everything, but you knock them out.
Okay.
And a lot of them, they'll have like big thumpers, like a big end cap, like so it's like got a fat end, and that's when you just boom and just hit the squirrel.
And so, what about the metal tips, though?
Yeah, it's just honestly, why chip stone when you can start collecting this stuff? And so once you get metal, you just create a little thing, you heat it up, and you create your own arrow points. And that's a lot better than having to chip this stuff.
Are we talking
chipping?
Yeah.
You're very accident prone. A lot of people don't realize like how much you can cut yourself. You got to do it with leather.
Yeah, yeah.
So honestly, once people find, you know, so they can get this in raw goods. They melt it up. They melt it up in a big pot, and then they start making their own stuff. So these become very common. Some are traded too.
I mean, they have the.
Those are cool though. I don't know though. I haven't seen them like this, so that's just a speculation. We can look them up. But it's interesting that they're so decorated.
Yes, that's what I couldn't. You know, I didn't know if then they were just using them as, you know, like a practice, or I don't know what they would do with them, because they were painted ends.
Now sometimes they'll paint in the shafts, so that's not as. But the fact that they went to such, I mean, they that's carved out. That's not just painted. So someone really took their time. The same with this. It's a very cool bow. But I mean, keep in mind too, people are wanting to make things their own. So there's a combination of things occurring. One is just people like things.
Yeah,
they're going to decorate, as all humans do.
Yeah.
And the other part of this stuff is like, for Native peoples, religion and reality are the same thing. So there is a lot of power that's associated with most of their stuff. So when you talk about like animals and the multitude of animals here, you're really looking at the individual taking on these power elements. So like when you look at headdresses, you get the eagle, the thunderer, the thunderbirds. You know, you're taking these powers, but then you'll also see ermine, like weasel, hanging off the side. Well, weasel is considered one of the most vicious animals of the plains. And that's because it has a singular focus when it is on the attack. And so like if a weasel gets into your chicken coop, like it'll kill everything until it's exhausted. So it'll just kill even beyond its own need. And there's a great photo of one like attacking a woodpecker, and it's still in mid-flight. It's not letting go.
Oh my gosh.
So they wanted this. So in 1834, there's a description of the Kiowa after the Sundance going up to trade with the Crow for weasel pelts. And so that's how important they are. In about 1850, they're worth 5 pelts are worth about $50. So very expensive. But they use them because they're part of the power that you take on. So when you go into these visions, as they call them, but these, you go off and you figure out what your power, what your spiritual entity may or may not be. Some people don't get it, and in that case, they buy their power. So people then tell them what they have to do, and it costs them whatever amount of money. To accomplish that. But
so that one's a little carved too in the middle. What do you think about that?
I don't know. If we could trace the type of wood, it would give you a better idea. I know that they were some amazing bowmen though.
Yeah, I have no idea where he would have picked that up. If it was here in Oklahoma or further west.
I don't recognize the interior, but I'll be honest, I don't look at bows and arrows all that often.
I can see that.
But we can try.
You know.
We can try. Oops.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, can you prove that?
Yeah. No.
Yes, I know.
Unless you
have a picture.
Unless you got a picture, which you can. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I actually have a great black and white films. Like I have a,
And it's really.
It's cool.
Sticky, like, you know. I don't know what you think of that.
I have one similar, so I can go check out this one too.
It's like a horsewhip or something?
It is.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Oops. Purple.
I mean, because
It's a loom stitch. It's northern. I don't know, actually. Let me take a look at those. I mean, the beadwork on this one looks Cheyenne. But like, they put brow band here, but in all honesty, probably it's being worn on the arms. Or maybe even the legs.
Okay.
But like you said, the purple's pretty.
It's kind of unusual.
Northern, it's probably Northern Plains, though. You can always tell with these blue, yellows, and reds, and then the way that they've actually angled them. You'll see that on Cheyenne shirts.
Okay.
And a few others, so that's why I don't want to be concrete, because what a lot of people don't realize is everyone's talking. So when there once was these defined patterns that you could fit everyone into, once everyone starts hanging out, someone like, ooh, I like it.
Well, you see, he did visit a lot, the Cheyenne Arapaho agency that was up there, or we had a mission, you know, that was on the land.
That makes total sense.
So, yeah, I could see that he got that from there, you know.
And you know, it's not to say that, like, for years, people used to talk about these Arapaho parfleche containers and these other containers. Turns out that the Arapaho were just buying them from the Winnebago.
That's the thing.
Everyone attributed to all of these collections to Arapaho, and none of them technically were made by Arapaho. They were all used and utilized, so technically they belong to. But, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah. So we have a couple of little purses. This was a pin cushion, they said, which I think, I think he probably got it around here because he was married and
he may be.
Someone made it, you know, it's a little velvet in there. With, no, it's got the little thing. No, there's this thing that is really broken. I think it's supposed to hang.
That could also be Northeast.
Oh, really?
Like Mohawk. They have these little things, and that could be a bit older even.
Okay.
Like 1870s, 60s, Mohawk, Iroquois style.
Okay.
They did these things, and I can't remember what they're called, but they're about these size, and they made all of these for the tourist trade.
Okay.
And even going back to like the 1830s, 20s and 30s. And so, but they use bigger beads. That's their style.
Okay.
I can't think of the name of it, but I can find that.
Well, they came from the Northeast, so I'm wondering, you know, it could have been that she got that, before they left, you know, or she bought that before they got married or something, you know. I thought this was interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's a very cool piece.
I don't know what it, I mean, I wouldn't go buy anything their little tags say.
Yeah, well, I'm just always curious. It definitely is a little pouch.
What did they use anything like that for?
Well, a lot of stuff you start getting things like this that would have been knives, like sheaths, but with this overflap, probably not.
Would it be a male or a female piece then, do you think? You know, that's...
I don't know, because what's interesting is they're using dyed leather here, so it's a little bit later. Notice that that's...
right. Okay.
So at this stage, you know, you could be thinking that this is possibly reservation period piece.
Okay.
Is this part of your, could this be tied to a church?
Well, it could be. There was a church and then he had a house, but it didn't connect really. Like that looks to me, or it could be just a church, I guess. You know, but it looks like two buildings because it looks like it's missing, like this is a smoke, isn't it, coming out of it? And so it's missing one part of it.
Could be.
I don't know.
Because that's not very common.
The jingle bells.
These are, these little jinglers. Very common.
Okay.
Very common. Way more on the southern plains.
Okay.
But that's it, so you hear noise.
Yeah.
Dresses will have them at the bowler dress, you know. So, in fact, I had a friend of mine whose little girl was starting to dance, and it wasn't loud enough. So just before she was dancing, Mom was stitching in more. Louder.
I mean, to me, it looks. I don't know if it's really a male thing then to have the jingle on there. Is that more of a female?
Yeah, women had it in their stuff, but since that's a separate thing, I mean, I've seen it on men's sheaths and some other things as well.
Okay.
But
all right.
I wouldn't say 100% yet.
Okay.
These are different. What's hanging off here?
Right, and they have little indentations like they. I should have brought my loop upper.
That's very cool.
I mean, they're stamped or something.
Yeah, they are. You could probably find that. You could probably, if you decided to, depending on how much you wanted to sleuth this, you might be able to figure something out on that too. Because ration tickets would be about that size. And very important.
So definitely you think reservation.
Yeah, I think you're looking at reservation period. This is the dyed leather, which means it's retooled, reused. It's not like all the rest of this stuff. It's just brain tanned and see. I mean, here's another pouch. I mean, see the difference.
Right. So now that's got the pink in it. So what do you think about?
Way more crow, Blackfoot.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Now this supposedly they said was Shawnee. I don't know. It's in poor condition.
It's a dance drum.
I don't know about the markings on it. You know, the circle.
You can track some of that down.
And this, I think they also said was maybe Shawnee, which is kind of broken apart.
It's very common, very it's very neat.
And you know, he was here and he was around Shawnee, Oklahoma, but I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
That's a neat piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a neat piece. Look underneath here too.
So the side is off.
Yeah. What I held here.
Really?
What's really neat is I've got some pre-Columbian shell engravings from Spyro.
Yeah.
You can see dances, and they're holding this and this.
Oh, really?
And that would date back about 1,000 years.
Wow.
And they're still holding it, same ritual, same dance.
Wow, that they passed down,
Yeah.
Now this, so what do you call this? Because
it's a dance rattle.
Okay. And what do you think about, is that just a Plains tribe? Is that what we're, or?
It's everywhere.
Everywhere, okay.
I'm gonna be honest, it's everywhere.
Okay.
Like that stuff, that Craig stuff, Spyroan is all southeastern, but that dance motifs.
Okay.
I mean, it's just everywhere. So the Kiowa, they're still doing their gourd dances, and let me see if I can.
Yeah, you said there was a Kiowa mission also down, I don't know if it was near Anadarko.
I'm doing B-roll right now.
B-roll. Oh, that's so funny.